Our opioid crisis is on the rise and is devastating our community, and yet we are still not courageous enough to speak out about mental illness. Hello, welcome back to Recover with Jill B. Today we will continue speaking on mental health awareness. There is a high prevalence of somewhere around 43.8 million adults that experience mental illness each year. And this is just the adults. What about our youth and young adults as well? Why is it that we are so afraid of talking about mental health? Why is it that we will suffer in silence instead of letting our brothers or our sisters or just letting anyone know that we are struggling or dealing with certain things so that anyone can be there for us? Is it pride? Is it an embarrassment? What is it? Let me give you a prime example. We often don't think of famous people going through the same thing as we do. We kind of put them on a pedestal as we would our pastors, But a few months ago, back when we heard the news of Stephen Twitch, he's Ellen DeGeneres show. He struggled in silence and eventually took his life. And there was David Mann, who also came out that he was struggling in silence. He fixed and came to everyone's rescue, but would go struggle silently. He didn't want anyone else to know he was struggling himself. Would you have thought David Mann was struggling with depression? Someone who, we see, and I know he's in limelight, we see who appears to be so happy. And he's always making us laugh. The key word to that was appear. One who will always put on the front and make everyone else laugh, but sadly struggle themselves. Mental illnesses is amongst the number one cause of disability in our country. Depression is the number one cause of disability. And as our suicide rate continues to climb amongst adults and children, our opioid crisis is on the rise and is devastating our community, and yet we are still not courageous enough to speak out about mental illness. Why? How? What can we do? Again, those are the questions. Any one of you out there can experience mental illnesses. I think for the most open mind, and I also think like judgmental can be a part of our human condition. But then when discrimination, that will lead to prejudice, or even some hostility. That is when it will become a breeding ground for stigma. What is stigma? I'm going to read this definition of stigma to you. It says a mental or physical mark that is a characteristic of a defect or a disease. It also says a mark of disgrace or infamy, a stain or reproach as on one's reputation. So in society, mental health illnesses is stigmatized more than any other illnesses or condition. So my question to you would be, the reason for one not come, would this be the reason one will not come forward? I could perhaps see why. I could see as being famous. We won't even say being famous, just not being famous. Why they would not come forth, because, well, as being famous, the fans, we also put an expectation on them, thinking they don't go through anything. They don't have any normal lives or anything. But they wouldn't want us to know because of a stigma that we would be placing on them and how people would perceive them. I guess the real issue is that people with mental illnesses become labeled, shunned, isolated, shamed. I feel if people had the education, the support about mental illnesses, what it is and what it is not, maybe it can change a large perception of mental illnesses and what it is about. Let us put aside all our prejudice and our false beliefs and show empathy. I want to challenge everyone. I want to challenge you guys to be present, because I want to be present. I want to give people like the grace and the peace to know that you matter. You are important to me. The biggest thing is letting you know you can get past this. I want you to know that you can make it. God bless. Until next time.